Hey, how's everyone doing today? You excited? Awesome. Well, I am too. Again, as Teddy mentioned, my name is Ryan Ridgeway. I'm actually from a place called Overland Park, Kansas. This is my first time to New York City, and so it's been interesting. Kansas City has these streets that are, it's a grid line. Everything's numbers one way and street names the other way, whereas this is just all over the place. So certainly had my fair share of that so far. It's been a good time, but really excited to be here. Today, especially being the first kind of kickoff speaker for you guys, my goal isn't necessarily to fill you with a bunch of iCoin encyclopedia facts, if you will. We have a website for that. We absolutely do have other resources for that, and I encourage you, definitely hop online, do your research afterwards if iCoin sounds interesting to you. But we're going to start out, I want to start out talking about cryptocurrency as a whole, money as a whole, currency as a whole, means of transactions as a whole, how they operate, where money has been, where it is currently, where we're headed, and then kind of piece that together at the end with how iCoin can come into play and what role it can ultimately play. So the intangibles of currency. Money is absolutely important. You'll notice I didn't say essential because we do have two options. We have an option of self-sustainability and then network reliance. I just named it that due to the network interface of people exchanging currencies for different goods, different services. So I think we can all agree that technology at this point has advanced to such a degree that it's kind of impossible for us to fully adopt a theory of self-sustainability within our lifestyles. It just can't happen anymore. So we know currency is important. We know it's essential at this point. We do need it to create transactions, a means of trade. So transactional consistency, I'd say before delving into using a form of currency, whether you're talking about the US dollar, the Chinese yuan, countless others, you're talking about a system of kind of bartering, trading, just things that held value, whether it be sentimental or now monetary. But what a currency is intended for is to add some transactional consistency into the mix. So essentially saying, well, your item is worth this, mine is worth this, or they're worth each other. Now you have a medium for all that to be based off of. In addition to that, money, I think it's a great motivator. If you were to ask Tony Hawk or Reggie Bush, or any other professional athlete, star, anyone who essentially makes a lot of money, what their number one motivator is, they would probably go on camera, they would probably mention the love of the game, something like that, but money is right up there, with oxygen on things we need to survive and things that motivate us, things that inspire us, absolutely essential in that regard, and it's fun too. Old money. So as I kind of prefaced before, prior to some sort of currency system or the multitudes that were formed initially that kind of went into the US dollar, went into the Chinese yuan, all these existing currency systems that are used geographically at this point. It was more so just a barter and trade system. People that may have something that's worth something sentimentally to them, and that matches the sentimental value on the other end, and they transact a trade. 2 chickens for this much gold or whatever it may be. And now we have this congruent nature of currency. So technological advancements, in my mind, and this may seem opinionated, a lot of you may agree with this as well, even with the inception of debit cards, credit cards, things like PayPal out there, we're still living in kind of an old mentality. If you look at any other industry on the entire planet, you're going to see drastic advances, things that just absolutely blow our minds. We have robotics now. We have things where you can strap, I just pre-ordered this device, you strap it around your wrist, and upon you moving particular tendons, it controls, like a little droid or a gyroscope and all this stuff. And so we've seen all these advancements in other industries except for the finance industry. We're still kind of stuck in the old. And I think a lot of that has to do with just the fact that it is so large and so expansive and it's so hard to unhook, if you will. But Bitcoin in specific, and then a lot of these other cryptocurrencies is something that very, very excites me because it is the first thing to really come along and challenge the norm and challenge what we've already been used to. It's the first technological advancement that, at least to me, has kind of blown my mind. And so very excited about that. Another thing worth mentioning about old money is corruption. We talk a lot when we're talking about cryptocurrencies, decentralized versus centralized. And in my mind, a lot of the problem isn't necessarily that it's centralized, but whose hands it's in. And at this point, you know this as well as I do, it's absolutely out of the people's hands. We have no control. It's susceptible to manipulation. I won't go into specific companies or anything like that, but we all know that there's some manipulation within the marketplace. Whereas breaking the mold, we now have something that is decentralized. It is in your hands. It's peer-to-peer based. Security-wise, just levels beyond what we've ever been used to. And I think what we've seen thus far is, there's been a couple breaches, a couple Mt. Gox incidents, but this industry is so new and so fresh that you're going to have to kind of go in and out of some of those surprises that catch you off guard in order to get to where you need to be. Not only that, but there's a finite amount. Money, in terms of a fiat standpoint, in terms of a US dollar or any other currency, can just be printed more and more and more. And when we encounter troubles, the genius idea is to, well, that's no big deal, let's just print more, right? That is the wrong way of thinking. That doesn't solve anything. It just suspends the problem to a later date. So having a finite amount of currency insists that we have fairness within the marketplace and everything like that. So go to the next slide here. Cryptocurrency landscape. First little bullet point there is a beautiful mess. That is the exact term I would place on the cryptocurrency landscape at this point. It really is a beautiful mess. Everything is all over the place. It's new. It's exciting. But the newcomer coming into the industry, upon surfing a forum like bitcointalk.org or something like that, they are going to get totally lost within the mix. So right now it's a beautiful mess. There, I think it's arguable to say that Bitcoin absolutely has the majority of the market share when you're talking about that. But we have all these other ones that are emerging, excuse me, and they're specifically meant for geographical regions or specific niches to fit into. And in the end, I think cream rises to the top. We will find currencies that fit a specific geographic region, that fit a specific need that the world needs, and ultimately those will be the ones that rise to the top. I always like the example of MySpace versus Facebook. MySpace came out, and it was the next big thing. It was going to change the world, and it did briefly, until Facebook came along and covered up holes that no one even knew was there in terms of social media, in terms of being able to connect one another. And I really think what we're looking at is a MySpace versus Facebook scenario. That's obviously potential at this point. Personally, I would love it either way. Bitcoin to take over everything, the dollar to crash, all that fun stuff, but we have no idea what's going to happen. Another cryptocurrency could easily take over, be the #1 market share, and just knock out all the others. Or we could have a couple that fit seamlessly with each other. It's kind of up in the air, and that leaves me with the last quote on that slide. The only thing that is constant is change. And I think what we'll find is that although we have a couple that end up being kind of the ringleaders, things will constantly change throughout the industry as they've proven to over time. So as I kind of prefaced before, we have two different types of cryptocurrencies. One is niche. These are currencies like Aurora Coin, Mazda Coin, that fit maybe a geographical region. Industry specific, like Sex Coin or something like that. Coins that are built specifically for traders or for miners for profitability, and then also some that are built maybe as a meme for comedic relief, fun, games, all that stuff, and compare that to other coins that are created with the intention of dominating the entire marketplace. So with that, you're looking at Bitcoin, you're looking at Litecoin, and now iCoin. That is our goal as well. So iCoin at first glance. Full marketplace adoption, again, as I mentioned, that is our focus. We don't fit into a specific niche. We're not geographically restricted in any means. Our goal, and we believe we have it through proper name and design, the marketability of iCoin, ease of use, and the fact that it's built for longevity, built for speed, built for user interface, and the easiest way for someone who is brand new asking, what is a cryptocurrency? I've never heard that term. I don't know what Bitcoin is. That they can come along and have that ease of use and user interface to where they can hop on immediately And I think once that starts continuing its climb, continuing its trend, it'll just astronomically blow up the entire marketplace. The importance of consumerism. That is our #1 goal with iCoin. We realize that a currency with no consumers and no merchants fails in its role as a currency. If you don't have consumers on one end that are willing to purchase with your currency, and if you don't have merchants on the other end that are willing to sustain that currency and take it onto their business, you really don't have much else aside from the pump and the hype of that currency, which will prove to say a lot about the currency in the very beginning, but ultimately it's essential in the end that you're creating financial and transactional relationships. That's the entire means of a currency. Merchants. These are some of our merchants right now. To be honest with you, I created this PowerPoint presentation about a week ago, finalized it, I guess I should say. And now we have 2 more merchants as well, but these are some of the ones we've accepted thus far. A couple web design studios in there. Bitcoin Dead Sea is for like facial scrubs, stuff like that. An SEO agency, Crypto Alley Auctions, and a couple different ones for actually smokeless tobacco, e-cigarettes, e-hookahs, things of that nature. And so, again, iCoin's focus is to fully adopt to the marketplace as a whole. So, especially in the beginning, we're not picky about merchants we take on. If any of you guys do know merchants that want to accept iCoin, be more than happy to have that conversation with someone and make it equally incentivized on either end for them to start utilizing that currency. Trading, right now we're on 6 exchanges. I won't go through all of these. There are some newer exchanges, just as many of the cryptocurrency exchanges are, with the exception of something like a BTC-E or a Coinbase.com. Ultimately, our intention is to trade on these, get adopted to mintpal.com, Cryptsy.com, and a couple of other of those leading cryptocurrency exchanges. And then what we also want to do is to create a seamless exchange where people can go and just strictly trade US dollar or fiat currency into iCoin. That's ultimately the road that we're headed on. Right now, that's a little bit of a touchy subject. Coinbase obviously has done a fantastic job at doing that, but it's one of those scenarios where, if you want to walk through a minefield, let your buddy go first type of thing. So we're looking into the legality of that, where it could prove to be good or bad down the road, and we definitely want to take our time and get in setting up an exchange like that, because once you tie, fiat currencies into the mix, you're dealing with a whole different set of stipulations there. Mining-wise, we have a pre-mine. So I know that's a little bit of a sensitive subject, so I wanted to mention it first and foremost for you guys. Basically what we did is a 1% pre-mine. For those of you who don't know, a pre-mine can be used to launch the coin for giveaways, to give out to merchants, things of that nature. So over the course of about a 900-year time frame, this is a very extended currency. There's going to be about 500 million coins presented throughout the marketplace. Right now we have about 10 million of those in existence, half of those being part of a pre-mine that we've been able to use successfully thus far in distributing out to the marketplace. We've spent about 1.3 million iCoin. Today, if you guys would like, I'd love to hand out some to the crowd. I have a separate wallet in place for doing just that. And over the next 2 to 3 years, the majority, in fact, all of that pre-mine will have been spent. And we want to use it to launch the coin to its perfection, to get it out into the marketplace, really boost it up and have some initial capital outside of US dollar that can help this coin succeed. Our specifications offer profitability and will continue to meet the demands of both miners and investors alike for decades to come. I think that's important. Consumers is not mentioned in that, obviously, because of mining, and this is more of that's more targeted towards the investors, the miners, the people that have their mining rigs and want to help boost the coin and be a part of it. So specifications, I won't go through a lot of those. Again, I'm the director of marketing, so I feel that I would probably stumble over a couple of those anyways. So do your own research on that. We have, just so you know, been at the top of the ranks in terms of mining profitability on Coin Wars a couple separate times now, planning to make that a more consistent trend. And here's just a couple snapshots, guys. This is our website for those of you who haven't had much time to kind of research iCoin. Just front page right there for you. Real easy setup. Get started would ultimately lead you to a page like this. So for anyone who is not well-versed in cryptocurrencies, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is all so new, what do I do? We have an exact setup. This is what syncing your wallet looks like, receiving and sending payments, and this is how you protect your wallet. And then this is the last picturesque slide I'm going to throw up here. This is our pre-mine. This is something we did just because we were getting a little bit of flack about the concept of a pre-mine, whether it would or wouldn't be used respectfully with the marketplace in mind. And so we created this. This is, again, about a week old. So right now, we've spent almost $1.5 million iCoin into the marketplace. That's been distributed to fans in terms of promotions. It's been given away to merchants, helped launch some marketing activities. Some videos we'll be launching in the upcoming weeks, which I'm very excited about. So that's just there for full visibility. We want you to know that the pre-mine is an honest part of what we do, and we're using it to benefit the marketplace as a whole. The big picture. So the time is now, guys. I mean, this industry is so new, and it is so, it's in a stage of growth right now that we've never seen before. And so the time is now to act. I would encourage everyone that, upon someone new asking you about cryptocurrencies, obviously many of you out there are representing your own coin. You came here today to get advice and insight. So when someone comes to you, not only promote your own coin, promote cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and Litecoin as a whole. And leave it up to the marketplace to kind of decide what happens, because people need that knowledge. They need to know what a wallet is. They need to know what mining is, how important mining is. So not only that, I think in specific to iCoin, our goal is to create consumer-driven relationships, to be here for the long haul, to ultimately create those financially related transactions and relationships that are going to keep on coming for years to come. And ultimately, it's up to you guys. Feel free to do your research on iCoin. I appreciate you letting me speak. With that, if any of you have questions, feel free to find me. Always happy to answer anything for you, and definitely go into more detail about how you can become involved about iCoin. And with that, I absolutely don't want to take the stage for the entire time. I'll leave it up to these other coins. I'm really excited to hear from them as well. So again, guys, appreciate you letting me share, and let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. Thank you.